Good day, YouTube. Today's video is succeeding in the Air Force is very easy. And I'll explain what I'm talking about when I say that. Think of it like this. Whenever you join the Air Force, enlisted or officer, you're going to be taught about the core values of the Air Force. Integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. I think the topic of service before self, whether you're for that or against it, is a topic for another day. And that's because some people agree with that, some don't. So those are the core values that you're taught whenever you join the Air Force. You know right up front what they expect of you, and that's integrity, around the clock. Service, you signed up, you're going to provide a service to our nation, and excellence in all we do around the clock. Not just when you're in uniform, but 24 hours a day, 365 days a week. Does that mean we are perfect airmen? No. And the Air Force doesn't expect you to be perfect, because if they were, in my opinion, they'd be disappointed. So the core values are important. You have to know that. If you serve 4 years or 20 years, the Air Force is going to guide you. They're going to train you first and foremost to do your job, and they're going to train you well. Again, if you think that the Air Force is not training you well, I would hope that you would bring that up to be mentored more, to be trained more, and I have confidence in that the Air Force would make you a solid airman. The other thing is you're getting paid to do your job. That's a good thing. So they're taking care of you. They're training you the way they want it to happen, and they're paying you to do that. When I say think of it as an open book test, here's what I mean. They're telling you what is expected. They're telling you how to do it. Of course, you can bring your own creativity as long as it's within the standard to add a flavor to make it successful. They're not going to micromanage you. And I think some people will disagree. Again, that's another video, another day. They tell you what's expected. If you want to progress in your career, they'll tell you what courses you have to do for your job, specifically upgrade training. They'll talk to you about professional military education, which is expected of you for you to go on to the next rank. And they'll make that happen. They'll select you for training. If you are sharp, it's going to be even easier. If you're not sharp, it's going to be challenging. Mentoring is important in the Air Force, and hopefully there's mentors everywhere. It doesn't have to be your supervisor. You can be led by your supervisor, but you're going to find your own mentors out there. Sometimes it's going to be your supervisor, sometimes it's not. When I was an Airman First Class, A1C, my mentor unofficially was a tech sergeant who was a friend of mine, and we would have really good conversations about my plans and my ideas, and he would listen, and then he would provide some input, and he gave me some great input, and he probably had no idea that he was mentoring me, but he was. He's a retired master sergeant now, and I think of him often because of what he did for me. Mentoring is a big thing. Either you're going to have a good mentor or not a good mentor. The good news is, if you have a bad mentor, you should find someone that you feel comfortable with. It could be a civilian who served, who retired, or served 4 years or 10 years or whatever it was, who can mentor you. When I say it's easy to succeed in the Air Force, it really is, especially if you're willing to ask questions, to learn, and to make it happen. Hopefully you're motivated. I was blessed enough to have 4 ranks on the enlisted side: Airman First Class, Senior Airman, and Staff Sergeant. And I was blessed to have 4 ranks on the officer side: Second Lieutenant, First Lieutenant, Captain, and Major. I could have continued, but eventually the day came where I was like, okay, I did my time. I think it's time to head in a different direction. Looking back at my career, I definitely succeeded. If you have a job that you're not crazy about, and that was my first job. I liked the fire department, but I didn't want to do it as a career. I still excelled. And it's really what you do with what you're given. And seek out opportunities. If you do a good job in the Air Force, people, your leadership are going to notice that. And when you apply for something that you want to do, they should support it. That doesn't mean that you're always going to get it, but they should support you in at least applying and being competitive and hopefully being selected for that opportunity. If you're in the Air Force or are thinking about joining the Air Force, you can succeed if you really want to, or you can be average. There's nothing wrong with being average, but I would hope that you challenge yourself to be the best that you can and succeed. At the same time, have fun in your career, whether it's 4 years or 20 plus years. Always ask questions, pay attention, and make it happen.